Today's guest is a young woman whose journey reflects both resilience and a deep desire to grow in faith. Born in Phoenix and raised in Dallas, she's a 27-year-old Christian who is passionate about self development, lifelong learning, and spending time with the people she loves. She is learning to walk boldly with Christ, growing in love for Him and for others. Though life has its ups and downs, she stands firm in her belief. So please welcome to the show, MaKayla Thomas. Hello, MaKayla Thomas. Welcome to the Call by God podcast.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Listen, I am excited that you're on. And again, if Adney was here, Adney would be like, thank you again for answering the call. So we get excited when guests come on this show. So again, thank you again for answering the call.
Thank you for thank you.
Yeah. So before we get into the initial question, I already spoke about you briefly. Could you tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yes. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, but I was born in Garland, Texas, with my mom and my three sisters. Garland, Texas. I love connection. I love being around people I can ask questions and learn from. Um, I enjoy the small things. I enjoy nature. I enjoy taking myself out, learning about myself, pushing my limits. Anything about God, I love. Just about learning, enjoying life, being authentic, overcoming. That's a little bit about myself. I like cats. I really love cats.
Oh, wow.
I love cats. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Do you own a cat?
I did. I
Oh,
did
no,
own a
not
cat.
at this moment.
Not currently. She was okay, so she was a foreign cat. So she's different. So she was a Norwegian forest cat. So yeah, she would climb on top of the walls, latch on the walls, and like
Yeah.
slowly come down like that, and you could hear it. And yeah,
Right, right.
she was crazy. But yeah,
I know they said cats are like cleaner than dogs. So,
very.
cat. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was very intelligent. So I could like clean and everything. She'll go right behind, like she'll watch me and then she'll
Hmm.
go behind me and like mess up everything. So she was very intelligent.
Oh,
She was
wow.
but cats are very clean. They are.
Yeah, they are.
So I prefer them.
Amen. So let's get right into it. So I know your leaders encourage, the church to have fellowships, at the church. In essence, they want every member to get to know one another. Right? Because I've been to your church once. I've been to your church this year. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how they encourage the fellowship. Yeah, because when I was there, Kayla, when I was
Uh,
there, I like what your preacher did during the closing prayer. The whole church like stood up and formed a whole circle. And
oh,
then I
yeah.
think it was a brother and sister in Christ, and they was like, "Hey, they said, if you're not gonna leave now, you could stay and fellowship."
Hmm.
I'm like, "Wow." I think y'all had like a fellowship meal that day, so
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking in terms of fellowship. Because I know that day I didn't stay because I had to leave. I had to like go to the airport.
Hmm.
But I remember we formed the whole circle around the whole church. They
Hmm.
did a closing prayer, and then I think they said it was like a fellowship meal, and I think the fellowship meal was more so an encouragement to get to me. I mean, I'm just outside looking in to get to know one another better, to communicate. Could you tell us more about that? Like,
I got you. What stood out most to me when I first visited North Colony was the love, the atmosphere. So with North Colony, it's like they actually take the Bible and actually apply it. And I got to see that when I first went there, the fellowship, like the institute, I didn't know what the institute
yeah,
was. And so it was us taking what we learned and bringing that in and going deep, like taking a deeper dive and bouncing off everybody's ideas and hey, like, from my perspective, I see it from that. I saw it from this angle. And then another person could say, add in their, what they learned in their perspective and just asking questions. And like, we really do take fellowship very seriously there because that's connection and it's genuine because family, when I think of family, I think of connecting, being together. It's genuine, it's real. And I feel like we really need that because some of us didn't have that growing up. And
Yeah.
so when you come into a space like that, it's different and you're drawn to it and you want more of it. Like, man, like I didn't get to experience that growing up. Like, I know for me, like, I've always wanted like connection, family, to be around my family members or to be around my favorite cousin, my favorite uncle, and just hear them and see them and like, being able to see that at North Colony, um, it's a beautiful thing and we take pride in that because when we have visitors coming in, some of them are not used to that. Like some churches of Christ don't really go like extend that out, but we really do because it's very important. We're a family. This is a relationship. It's about building genuine Christian relationships with one another. We need that, you
Yeah,
know.
that's good. It reminded me like of the first century church. You
Hmm.
know, they had everything in
Yeah,
common. And that's why when I went there, I was like, oh wow, this is like kind of cool. So I'm sure you can't be that Christian that just walk into church and just run out to the parking lot and you out. Like I got my word and I'm good. It's like that
no,
church gonna
no. We're gonna be like, hey, sister, you okay? Did you want to stay for the institute? Like, what did you
Yeah,
learn? Like, we're genuine. Like, we want to actually like be it. Like, we want connection with you. Like, we want to
right.
show and pour out God's love, Jesus' love on you. It's very important.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like that. So in this season that you're in right now, uh, which woman in the Bible could you relate to, and tell me why?
Ruth.
Ruth?
Ruth.
Why? Why Ruth?
Ruth was very committed and loyal. She knew where she needed to go. She needed to be with um, her mother-in-law. She needed to be there, and she saw that. And for me, I know where I'm at. I know what path I need to stay on. God has placed certain women in my life that I can be able to learn from, reach out to, talk to, because I need that in my life right now. And
Yeah.
Ruth was willing to work. She was willing to
Yeah.
learn, and I'm very willing to learn. And I enjoy working. I enjoy asking questions and being under a woman, especially a woman of God who has more
Yes.
experience, more wisdom. So I'm in that. I can relate to her in that aspect.
Yeah, that's good. Because I think it is important that older godly women should pour into younger women and
Yeah,
vice versa. So it would be like older men of God pouring into younger men. I believe in that.
yeah,
So just to hear you, just to have that mindset saying like, hey, I'm loyal, I'm faithful, and most importantly, you're a servant. You
mm,
say you love working. And I'm sure you love working in the church and outside the church. So that's definitely a blessing.
I
Um,
really do. It's
yeah,
a beautiful thing.
but I know you wasn't always that. I know you wasn't always like that.
No.
So you do, you do have a past. So before you obeyed the gospel, so tell me how was like life like? Because I'm sure for a woman
Mhm.
that's 20 plus years old and we all have a beginning story before we obeyed the gospel. So could you share a little bit about your background in that regard? Like before you obeyed the gospel, how was MaKayla like in the world?
Mm. Michaela was lost. Um, Michaela was lost, and she she was in pain, but she tried to, I guess, relieve that pain through certain activities. Um, Michaela um, has been through a lot of trauma, But she, at the same time, I can still relate to MaKayla because MaKayla still didn't give up. She doesn't let certain things stop her from where she wants to go. But she was lost. It's like being in the dark, not having any guidance. I didn't really have as much guidance as I do now, and I definitely didn't have Christ with me. Christ came in and changed my world, changed me from the inside out. Like I said, I was lost and I was drowning.
Yeah.
But you don't, I didn't know I was drowning until I was saved, until Jesus pulled me up out of the water. And now looking back, I'm like, man, like you don't really know. Like
Yeah.
you really don't know until somebody shows you.
Yeah, that's true. So when you say you was lost, like, could you like elaborate more on that? Because like, I'm gonna give you an example. So for me, um, before I got saved, I knew I was lost. You know, nobody had to tell me. I knew I was going in the wrong direction. But I think the hardest thing for me, I didn't know how to get in that narrow path. I didn't know what it means to live a purposeful life. In essence, I was living a life that was like just getting up. I was pretty much getting up, going to work, and I was in college. So I was living a life purposeless. In addition to that, I was clubbing. So I used to be a clubber and I was an alcoholic. And so I did a lot of things that was ungodly. So even when people used to talk to me about God or walk up to me and talk to me about God, I used to tell them, "Yeah, I'm a Christian." So because I was raised to know Jesus Christ a little bit. So the people that used to encounter me like, "Hey, can I talk to you about God or are you a Christian?" I used to say, "Yeah, I'm a Christian." So it's like if I walk on the streets right now and ask people if they're a Christian, 9 times out of 10, people gonna say that they're a Christian because people always feel like they're in the right with God, but they don't have no relationship. So when you say that you was lost, could you like more elaborate on that? What is it that you felt like you was doing that you considered to be lost or living a life that's with no purpose?
I walked aimlessly. Um, I didn't have the best relationships at that time growing up. I didn't have the guidance that I needed, the wisdom, the understanding, or just a teacher, somebody to teach me like how to navigate life or to have a relationship with Christ. So I grew up in the body, but I didn't have a relationship with God. And at the time, I wasn't really pursuing a relationship with God. I didn't know what that looked like. My family grew up in the body, but in my personal life, I didn't see that God, like a personal relationship somebody had with God. I didn't see that guidance. So I wasn't really looking for it. But I was going to church like, routine because my people was going. Um, and it's a lot of people kind of relate to that as well. Like I'm just going because I had to go. My people, I've been going since I was young. We get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. My grandma, she playing the worship music, and we finna go to church. But I didn't have a relationship with God, so I lacked a lot of things. And I think, in a way, I was searching for something. I was searching for fulfillment, but I was so blind and I couldn't find it. So I was just aimlessly like, just trying to find what I was looking for, but not being able to actually like put to words what I'm looking for. So I was just trying to find that in whatever activity, whether that was like sex, drugs, anything that brought some kind of fulfillment in me. So if that makes sense.
Wow. So you was pretty much going to church and you kind of like had a checklist because
Yes.
you're helping somebody here because I believe that so I'm gonna give you two part. So you may have an individual that's going to church in a place of worship and they just got a checklist like I went to church today, but no
Hmm.
relationship.
Yeah.
And you may have another person on the other hand be like, look, I don't want to go to church because I don't want to be no hypocrite, because them folks be like they be quick to bash the community, the assembly of God, be like, man, I don't want to go to church because there's a whole bunch of hypocrites. But
Right.
you'll have somebody like me that there's hypocrites everywhere. There's hypocrites at the job. You still go there.
That's a good
you
point.
know,
That's a good point.
Folks will just be throwing out like reasons of why they don't want to go to a place of worship. But there are people like that just pretty much be like, oh, I went to church today, so I guess I'm good with God. God is good with me because, you know, I went to church. So that was pretty much what you was doing.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying. You're just pretty much because you have that background and that history of your parents going to church or being raised in the church, and then you pretty much going based on what they taught you since you was young.
yeah,
So that mean you that's why you say you was pretty much walking, you was pretty much lost because you haven't really tasted the goodness of
right.
God. So you gave your life to Jesus in 2013. So so I want to know like who taught you the gospel and how long after did it teach you to obey the gospel? Because I know we're in 2025 right now. So now you fully giving your life to God and now you're walking this walk and you're building a relationship with him. And like, man, like what in the world happened in your life for you to say, Lord, I surrender? Because
Y-
most people they go through stuff, they be like, all right, God, I give up. I'm ready to surrender and follow you. Like something happened in your life, or did somebody teach you the gospel? Like, could you walk us through that?
Yeah, so at Greenville, we had these things where a preacher would come in. It would happen in August. I don't remember the word, but like a minister would come and visit and preach the gospel for a whole week. Brother Washington, I don't know if you're familiar with him,
Yeah, I'm
Brother
familiar.
Washington.
Yep.
He came and excellent, excellent minister. Very knowledgeable, very wise, and how he spoke about Jesus. I was convicted. Like I wanted to get baptized. Like I wanted that, and so I got baptized when I was around 12 to 13 years old. Um,
Hmm.
and after that, I remember not really being as committed as I should have been. I was in my teenage years, you know how teenagers can be. It didn't really happen for me till like 22, 23, whereas like my life did like a complete turnaround.
Hmm.
Um, it's like I woke up, but I know it wasn't me because I remember, you know, not being as committed, still going to church, still checking off the list. I didn't have a relationship with God. It's different. So around 22, maybe like 22, 23, that's when my life changed. My eyes were opened and I started pursuing like God, like, okay, so my mind is on my mind is on God now. Okay, so now I'm reading and I'm praying, I'm trying to apply the word and I'm experiencing more of God around that time. So that's really what got me on this path today was God just waking me up, getting me out of the dark, opening my eyes. Because I know for a
Yeah.
fact it was not me. It wasn't me at all.
Right. So I just want to make sure that I follow you correctly. So you got baptized at 12, and then you went astray for many years until recently,
Yes.
in 2023, you got rebaptized? Like how did that come about?
So I got rebaptized once I gained I gained more understanding,
Okay.
more knowledge of, okay,
Okay.
my sin, it offends God. What I did, what I do offends God. And Jesus came down here and died so I might live to have a relationship with God. And I learned more about baptism, about the gospel. And I was like, and I heard a YouTube video, I think it was Brother Williams on baptism and all that. And I was convicted. I was like,
Mm,
I want to get rebaptized. I want to rededicate my life and I want to do this.
amen.
So I went to go get baptized that Wednesday.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You didn't waste no time,
I
right?
didn't. I was convicted. I was like, I know what I want to do. Like I'm focused and I'm about to go get rebaptized.
Wow, I like that. I like that drive. So, when Jesus Christ got baptized and then the Spirit of God led him into the wilderness. So, when I first got baptized, I read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And when I read that in the Gospel, I'm like, wow, the Spirit of God led Jesus Christ in the wilderness to be tried. So I believe that Christians, we go through trial periods, wilderness moments. So I know you rededicated your life in 2023, as we alluded to. Like, did you have a form of wilderness moment where you feel like you got tried since 2020 to present day? And if you did, could you share that moment and how God has delivered you and how you have overcome that?
Yeah, so um you made me think, we're in a spiritual warfare, right? And so I was in a relationship with the world before I came into a relationship with God, right? And so the enemy had control of my life. And so the enemy, he knows your weaknesses. He knows, your, you know, what what you're drawn to. And so when I got baptized, I started getting attacks, and he hit me in a
Mm,
certain area. It's relationships. He started throwing men in my face, and
mm,
relationships that meant me no good. And with the mindset, I wasn't like willing to, like, do anything, but like I would tell them like, hey, like, have you heard about Christ? And I would try to bring them to Christ. And I will say, you can't change nobody. If nobody's willing to change, you cannot change them.
amen.
And
That's true.
so he would start sending hitting me in that area. And so I'm still learning about my walk. I'm learning um, how to walk with God, learning about prayer, learning about spiritual warfare, sin, what I don't need to do, what I need to do, thoughts. And so I'm still learning. And so at the time, I'm not as strong as I can say I am now, which I hope I am, but I do believe. Um, the enemy kind of he sent somebody, and they steered me away. They got me off the path. And I was away for about 4 years. I was away for about 4 years after I rededicated my life, got baptized. And this after I got baptized, I was good for a couple months. And then I had received a job, and I was able to travel. And so when I was able to travel, I was in a new environment, and I met this person, and they kind of, led me astray. And yeah, and God is so good. God is very good. He's delivered me from everything that the devil threw at me, relationships, mindsets, addictions, anything.
Mm,
He delivered me from every single one of them. I recently just came out of a season where I was, I guess you could say, wilderness. I was in the wilderness for 7 months.
wow.
I didn't whew, I didn't I didn't have a job. Um I didn't have a car. My car broke down. I felt by myself. I felt enclosed. Like I couldn't go anywhere but the house. I didn't have a car, I didn't have money. I have pressures on my back. I have whispers in my ear. And then I'm dealing with unresolved, like, trauma, things that I was still doing, like idolatry. I was still dealing with stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing at that moment. Until God, like, had to, like, literally close down, shut down everything. And I'm in this for 7 months. So that was my wilderness. And I recently just came out of that in March.
So wow, that's because that's pretty much fresh. Because we're in what, June?
Yeah.
So Mars, that's like 3 months ago.
Yes.
So what did you do to overcome that? Like, did you
Mm.
receive the help of sisters or fasting and praying? Like, how did you overcome that with the help of God?
God is so good. God is amazing. Like, because before, I will say, I was confident in money. I was confident in
Mm,
my abilities and my strength. I was confident in it. I relied on it until God shook that up and took it away from me and helped me realize, oh, like, I can't depend on you. Like, I'm having this conversation, like, I'm like, I can't depend on money like I thought I could. I can't depend on my own strength. Like, I see that I'm weak without God. Like, I can't really do this without God. God showed up in so many ways, and He put me in humbling situations where I had to go get plasma to be able to get from place to place. There was an event. We had a event at North Colony. It was I held like a painting event. Most of that was provided because was done because of plasma. And it was very humbling because I'm like, God, like, I don't want to do this. Like, it I'm hurting. Like, plasma isn't like pleasurable. Like, it hurts. But I seen like the fruits of him still in that with the activity. Sisters were willing to help me. And then I've also seen him provide through sisters at North College, and I love them so much. Some of them were willing to come get me. I live 45 minutes away from North Colony. I'm in Garland,
Oh, wow.
Texas. When I tell you God is so good, these sisters were willing to come get me. Some of them were willing to let me spend a night so I could be able to go to church on Sunday. And then there was times where God provided food for me. Now I don't have income, but like he allowed me to get approved for his food stamps. And I remember one day, like I was hungry. We didn't have no food. The food stamp card came the same day. I'm like, God, I'm hungry. It came the same day. When I tell you he showed up in so many ways to where now it's like, God, like I trust you. I trust you. Like I'm good. Like if I was to go through that again, I would be kind of excited a little bit for it because I get to spend more time with you. I would do stuff a lot more differently,
Yeah.
but God showed up. I will never leave nor forsake you is real. And I'm there like cast your burdens on the Lord for he cares about you. God was there for me. Like when I was crying, when I was by myself, he showed up. And what made me endure it, not give up, I made a choice. I'm gonna stay right here. Because if I go back and it's crazy because like the enemy knew too, because I would get like thoughts like go smoke, go
Mm,
do this. It's open for you. Call them up. You have
wow.
all this like who cares? Like, God is not, thoughts like that will come will flood in my mind. But like once you experience God and you have a relationship with him and you love him, it's like and you know things and you see things for what they truly are. Like I know if I was to do that, I know what is behind it. I know it. And I know that if I do this, this is gonna affect this. It's like a reaction. It's gonna, like a domino effect. It's consequences. So I decided I'm gonna just stick to this. I'm gonna let patience have her perfect work. I'm gonna trust what God say, even though I'm warring, I'm battling against myself. My flesh is literally crying like, we need a job. We need to do this. We need to do that. But my spirit is like, no, this is the time where you spend time with God. You learn what you can. You need to learn what you're doing. I allowed it to. I didn't allow it to be. Um, I didn't become it. I didn't allow it to. I didn't allow that to be my identity. Um, Christ is my identity, and that's different.